Welcome to Memoirs Podcast, where stories are told to create lasting memories in this digital space that we live in. It's time to be creative and explore the opportunities you have to enhance the quality of your storytelling and to give you time back to enjoy with family and friends.
Like so yeah.
Welcome back, Adrena.
Welcome back.
Thanks, y'all.
Oh, hey, okay.
Yo.
C minus 60. We're gonna get started. Couple minutes, and we're rolling.
Yo. Good morning, Paige. What's goody? Yeah, a bunch of people we got to meet over the weekend at the fan base Diamond Investor Dinner.
Yeah, oh yeah, I was gonna mention that before we got rolling. Definitely gonna mention that.
Yeah. I tried to get a bunch of them to buy real estate here. Like, what are you going back home for? Shit. Man, it's condos available, everything.
There it is. 10:05. What's going on, y'all? Let's get rolling. Welcome everybody to the Monday Morning Marketing Meeting. I'm your host, Nick Love. Like me, love me, follow me right here on Fanbase. We do this call every single Monday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on this app. Shouts out to my man Isaac up here at the top for providing the platform. Really appreciative of what you have done and what you have built here, and allows us to kind of get our thing off on a week-to-week basis. As the name of this call implies, we talk about marketing, concepts, ideas, strategies, things to get your creative juices flowing for the day, the week, the month, the remainder of this year. We are, what are we? What's today? This is the 7th? No, the 8th? December 8th. We got a couple more weeks left, for about 3 or 4 more weeks left in the year. So I hope you guys are kind of in it strong, man. Like this has been an interesting year, and I'm going to speak to that before we get to today's call rolling, but I do want to kind of do our normal spiel before I get too deep into today's topic. Luckily, I don't have to do this call alone. Joined by some of my smart, amazing, brilliant, funny, beautiful, handsome friends who are up here. So shout out to Gary, Isaac, Noel, Tallboy, Alita, Street, Adrena. Who was just up here that just left? Was that I don't know who that. I thought it was Charles. Was that Weeks? Somebody? Okay. And I know we got a few of our regulars that are going to join shortly. I know there was an issue. I think couldn't get in. We had a few people that couldn't get in the call for whatever reason, so I don't know what that was about, but it looked like everybody's either updated the app or everybody's kind of back to form. So, a few of the stragglers, hopefully they'll jump in soon. And shouts out to the audience, man. I usually do that while we're waiting, but I was kind of distracted. I was handling something over here, but shouts out to, everybody in the audience, Danny, Damon, Z Music, Soul Check. I can go on and on. I want to shout out Paige Barber. I just met him for the first time in the flesh at the Fanbase Investment Dinner on Friday. So shouts out to Paige Barber. Shouts out to Soul Left Field, Shahid, a few people that are on here every week. So I'm just appreciative of you guys just kind of tapping in week to week. But I see y'all. Ramona, what's up? Thank you as always. Saying Linus, what up? A couple of things. Before we get rolling, I want everybody to follow the campfire. If you have not followed it already, that should be at the top of your screen. Join that so you know that when we're starting these calls. And share the room. Go down to the bottom right-hand side of your screen, hit the arrow, share the room. I am doing so as we speak. Let me hit my button and get rolling because I know it's people who was dying to be on this call, and now we doing the call, and where you at? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's going on? I did this for y'all. Posting, bam. Isaac, any updates on Fanbase that we need to know about before we get rolling today? Isaac?
You had you said
go.
something. I got a phone call. What's up?
I said, any updates on Fanbase we need to know about?
We are 10 days away from closing our raise. So tell everybody that who wants to join us round to join it, because we're going to be doing a lot of different things in 2026. Other than that, nothing too major. Like I said, the 100% of the users should have the algorithm now, so it should start. It's in the Flix feed only for now. So if you have Flix, it's in that feed. So use it as much as you can, because it's going to start training and getting more and more familiar with what you are interested in. But we have a plan, in the first Q1 of a quarter of 2026 to really get it to a place where we think everything will be moving in real time and real fly. So it's a process, but we do have that algorithm now that we've been looking for. So
Dope. I want to say a couple of things. One is, like I said, Isaac did a investor, what was it? Was it the Diamond Investor? Was that the name of the dinner, Isaac, on
Diamond
Friday?
Investor Dinner.
The Diamond Investment Dinner on Friday here in Atlanta over at the retreat. And the dinner was really, really dope, very, very classy. It was cool to meet a few of you guys in person. Like I said, we do this call every single Monday, and y'all are just faces in a circle to me, right? I rarely see y'all in person. We're always just kind of on this call. I'm talking to the air a lot of times. A lot of times my phone is sitting on my desk, sitting on my bed, or in my pocket or something, or on my little phone holster while I'm driving. So I'm not seeing everybody, but it was cool to kind of meet people in the flesh and just like really get like to just dap up, or share a hug or share a little brief moment of like, hey man, the call, da 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 da. That was cool. The second thing was, it was interesting to see a lot of the people who were in the room, people that I know or that I've known for a while, that they're not on this call. They're people that I see all the time in the city, but we never have fan base conversations. When I saw like people like Falana, saw AJ from 106 and Park, it was just a few people in the room that I was like, yo, I see you all the time. We speak sparingly, or we speak in depth about other stuff, but fan base was never a topic of conversation. So that was kind of cool that now we have that thing in common, and kind of questioning why we don't speak about it even more when we're just kind of interacting with each other. So that was just cool conversation to have. The other thing is, I mentioned earlier about ending this year strong. One thing I do want to point out, because I had this conversation yesterday with a couple of people, and I mentioned this before on the last call. Like, it's been really kind of interesting to see how many people either struggled through 2025 or just kind of maintained through 2025. And I just want to just throw a quick shout out to everybody who just kind of just made it here by the skin of their teeth. They're still alive, still struggling, still fighting through it, man. Like, continue to push through it, man. Like, misery loves company. And I will say that it's really, really easy to get caught in these conversations of like, oh, we all fucked up. You know what I'm saying? So it's easy to kind of get dragged into those type of conversations where it's just like, it feels better to know that you're not the weak link in the group chat and that everybody else is not doing better than you. But sometimes you need that. Sometimes you need to get on this call on Monday. Sometimes you need to get it, have everybody realize like, yo, like, maybe you do need to step your shit up. And maybe your friends are doing a little better than you, given the same resources, given the same opportunity, given the same time frame. So it's not that, oh, I can't do it because I got kids, or I can't do it because I'm single, or I'm in a relationship, or whatever it is. Like, you just kind of need to get on top of your shit. So, shouts out to everybody who's holding on, but also everybody who knows that they kind of underachieved a bit or didn't really aim as hard as they could have. You know what I'm saying? I'm praying for y'all and just wishing that everybody kind of have a better 2026 and they had a better 2025. So I'll get off my soapbox there. Joseph, what up, man? Shouts out to him. Joseph up here on stage. I love to see my boy there. So let's get into today's topic. This is part 2 of a World Cup conversation that we had, what was it, about a month ago? Maybe about 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago.
Yep.
We broached the topic of World Cup, and everybody's like, oh, we got to do it again. And since that time, I've had an opportunity to do a few more World Cup conversations, to have a few more World Cup conversations. And even a lot of the conversations were actually not about Atlanta, oddly enough. They were about the other cities and what they're doing. And I was kind of shocked to find that, well, maybe I wasn't shocked to find. Atlanta has been super ramped up in terms of like, oh, we got to get ready for the World Cup. We know this money is coming. Some of these other cities, I mean, yes, they're building some more infrastructure, but the conversations are just, I guess maybe they're happening in silos, but they're not happening in the way that they're happening here in Atlanta. It may be because we had Olympics here before, so we know the impact that it can bring. But it's conversations like this that are going to help cities like Seattle and Philly and maybe Houston, Dallas, some of these other cities who just may have not seen something as big as this come to their city. So I want to just kind of jump back in and just kind of figure out what everybody has taken from the last conversation, what we need to do moving forward. I actually had a chance to, where's TC? Is TC up here in the room? I actually had a chance to do a call with TC, who was like very, very vocal in our first call. And we had probably about a 45-minute conversation about how we can work together, but kind of where is everybody else? Let's start there. Where is everybody else before we kind of deep dive into maybe some tips and some tricks of what everybody can tap into? But has anybody else kind of explored World Cup opportunities since our last conversation?
I am. We are for sure. I'm not gonna say what they are, but we're exploring. I'm not gonna say what they are, but they're directly related to the technology on this app. And that's gonna be real important because I think it's a huge opportunity for growth and awareness for the platform. So we will definitely be doing something for World Cup in a way. I'm hammering out the full strategy, but I think it's a good idea, and it's an amazing opportunity for fan base to be recognized globally. So we're not going to miss that opportunity.
Let me ask you this: the conversation, not to give away too much of what me and TC talked about, but one thing that he did bring up was just the directory portion of those sites, right? I mean, of World Cup, like. We all know here, like Resy and Open Table when it comes to restaurants and whatnot, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there are going to be a lot of sites, or there are going to be a few main, sites that people go to try to figure out what's going on in each one of these cities, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there are some things that you just can't find. You won't be able to necessarily find, the trap music museum, what I'm saying, on spots like, Open Table. Those things are kind of restaurant focused. But when you try to find out like what's going on in the city, like where do y'all go currently? Like I know when I was coming up in Atlanta, you would look at like ATL Pics would always have the flyers, what's coming up, and you had to see the pictures of everything after the event. Instagram is really great. I know So Left Field. Where's Charles at? So Left Field, who's in the audience here. Please follow him. He's great about what's happening here in Atlanta in terms of just random events. You got to be no club shit. It ain't necessarily urban stuff. It is a little bit of everything. He's telling you about the music festivals, the pumpkin patch that just opened in some random thing, the food festival at Atlantic Station. He kind of keeps a great directory of what's happening around the city. I'm curious at some point. I definitely want to do that at 10:30. Just kind of bring him up to see if he's kind of preparing for what World Cup looks like for him next year, or just does he already have a list of what's going on here in Atlanta 6 months from now? But the directory portion, like how will people direct, people that are coming in from other countries to these things? Like how do you find the Germany bar, the Portugal bar in Atlanta? Like I think the directories are going to be huge. Selling ads on those directories or just kind of being the go-to person to figure out what's happening. I think So Left Field is in a unique position to really take advantage of it. Isaac, like I said, I don't want to give away all your secrets or whatever, but is there something that people who are on fan base will be able to utilize that you're doing?
I think it'll be something that people that are on fan base and not on fan base will be able to utilize to communicate. Because it's a lot easier. Community is really a big part. You're about to have, multiple countries in the city, people speak multiple different languages, and directories are not always going to be enough. They're going to need to be able to communicate in real time and say like, where is this or where is that or where are you or what's going on in the city or what do you find interesting or how do we link up, where do we connect? And so that's going to be a huge part of our strategy, because then it opens it up to real opportunity for people to communicate and network and drive awareness. Kind of like, you remember, I don't know if people remember what kind of blew Twitter up was during South by Southwest, where people said, hey, how did you know that this was happening at this place during South by Southwest back in like 2000. I think it might have been 8 or whatever, 9. And they were like, oh, it was on Twitter. And, you know, like, where can we meet up in real time to, you know, find our community, find people like us, people that are interested, find people that are, you know, supporting the teams. So, yeah.
Agree. Like one thing I noticed that a lot of people with regards to community are really good at sharing what their plans are in real time. Like, hey, this is where I'm at, this is what I'm doing. But of course, when it comes to a week like that, World Cup, like it's not gonna be really easy to move around like last minute. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm not sure if a lot of people are really good at promoting exactly what's going to be happening or putting together an itinerary that you know, they're able to get their community to tap into and follow. Like, I think that would be most important. Like a lot of people, myself included, I'm really great at marketing in the moment. Like, here's where I'm at, this is what I'm doing, this is what's going on, so on and so forth. But you're not going to be able to move from the south side to the east side to Buckhead to Midtown probably at all that day. I feel like wherever you at is where you're going to be at.
I've been hearing a lot about the plan. So like even what they're doing, like with the airport and stuff like that. Jeff had sent me this really, you know, it's like an $8 billion plan for the city. One is like they're expanding the international terminal at the airport ahead of World Cup, but even all the way through 2026 to accommodate all the, you know, international passengers. Then the Gulch, which is Centennial Yards, they're going to have most of that ready. 2 new hotels that are going to be ready. As you can see, they're paving every street in Atlanta right now. I don't know if you noticed, all the streets are getting paved. Like, hey, for January hit, we need to have all these roads redone, looking brand spanking new. So Atlanta's definitely cleaning up the house before the guests arrive. I'll say that.
Real quick, I want everybody to kind of use their emojis, or you can do it in the chat too. Couple things. One, because Tallboy asked me this earlier, is anybody actually a soccer fan here? Like, I'm just curious how many actual legitimate soccer fans we actually have on this call. Because I would venture to guess it's not a lot of soccer fans. Look at that, I'm seeing some thumb downs
You know,
in the audience.
I played soccer in the 80s, you know what I'm saying?
Oh shit, not the 80s.
The 80s.
So we don't have a lot of soccer fans, but what we got is a bunch of business people trying to figure out how to integrate and, you know, with businesses and talk to a soccer audience, which I mean is extremely doable, I believe, but I think it helps to have nuance of what it is, and how these fans move. I can't remember the gentleman's name that was on the call before. He was from, I think he was from Portugal, if I remember correctly. He had an accent,
Oh,
and
Drogo.
and he spoke, you know, really eloquently and actually educated us a lot on like kind of some tips on like how to tap into these different audiences. Other thing, real quick before we finish the conversation up, anybody who speaks other languages, I'm curious about that. How many people on here actually speak another language outside of English? Real quick, show of hands.
Who the bilingual, trilingual people on fan base? Where y'all at? Where the bilingual,
Oh,
trilinguals?
I see
I
one.
see a
I see
couple.
two. I
Yeah,
see, yeah.
that's
Also,
crazy.
also
We don't
drop
know. We
please,
only know English. That's crazy. We messed up. We
we
behind.
so American.
All
also
right.
please
So
drop
American.
drop your business in the group chat. Tell us in the chat what your business is. Shout out your business. Tell us what you're doing, what kind of vendor you are.
I don't. Some of these people like now. Here go the ill thing about this call. I think a lot of the people who join this call, they join for the conversation. They join to kind of hear tips. But as I've gotten messages from, a lot of people do not actually have businesses. A lot of people are just interested in the topic. So there are some people like those couple people that I just screenshotted my phone so I can get back to y'all. Some people who can speak different languages would be very, very useful for us who do have businesses to kind of tap into some of that audience, right? Like that's me. I am regular old, speak English. I speak Atlanta English at that. So I'm really suck at it. So you know what I'm saying? Like I'm definitely not the person, but I have a couple of friends who are fluent in Spanish and in German and
Yeah.
French. My coworker Ty, like she's very, very good in speaking French. So she was always helpful to kind of have around. But I was curious to kind of see who else we have and what other resources we can tap into from this call. Um,
So Nick, I got a question for you.
Go for it.
I know you pulled up the Atlanta schedule, and I know that I think the biggest thing is finding out what teams are one in Atlanta, and then finding out two if somebody's in another city. Like I think Philadelphia is one of the cities, Miami is in another city, Houston is another city. What teams are there? So then that way you can find out what countries does somebody actually speak that language, if that makes sense. So then now you can say, okay, well, maybe you might want to take a trip to Houston because you speak that language and those teams are going to be there, and you can partner with somebody, or going to New York, or maybe you can just be there for that week. Maybe you know some family out that way and you can just be an interpreter and get paid that way, if that makes sense.
It's a brilliant idea. I'm gonna put the link, Gary. I'm gonna send you the link so you can put it up at the top since you're the master moderator.
For
But
sure.
I'm gonna get that to you. Brilliant idea.
Yeah, me personally, I'm looking forward to some of the. I'm hoping some of the African countries are coming here. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like the homie said, like which countries are actually going to be here in Atlanta? Because Atlanta, I feel like we are event based. So like who all gonna be there? You know what I'm saying? So I'm hoping there are gonna be some African teams there, but I definitely want to see some African internationals. And like I said, just kind of again talk them into buying real estate here. You know what I'm saying?
I'm looking at some of the teams and saying that Spain, Monaco, South Africa, and Haiti.
Yeah, that's great. Spain, like having Spain, South Africa, Saudi Arabia, Haiti. Yeah.
Yeah, come through, Haitians.
I think one thing that we should also keep in mind is, as much as it's great to being inviting to people and acknowledging where they're from, we also have to consider some of them might be excited to actually be here in America, and especially amongst so many Black people. I know we're like, oh, we're here, it's just our thing, whatever, but some of them may have never been to America, and they may be excited, to come into the space. So I think also just think of it as an influx of people that you can just provide services for, because outside of the game, they're going to want to eat, they're going to want to be out and about, I mean, overall, I just think it's an opportunity for you just to put your business out there. I know I'm working with a friend who has a mobile bar company, Tiffany, and we're looking into things for her.
Peace.
It's a wide open opportunity for us. And I'll add that the city of Atlanta has grants and things available that you can apply for that might help you fund some of your pop-ups and whatnot.
Well, Isaac and Nick, let me ask you guys: would you guys happen to know who runs the 404 day operation?
That is a combination of Brandon. Yeah, it's Brandon. Who else?
Bam.
Yeah, Brandon Bam.
On there.
And I feel like
AIE,
yeah, Bam. They're all part of it.
Yeah, it's a group of like 7 or 8.
I feel like they definitely need to be leading like Atlanta activations. You know what I'm saying? Like with regards to a directory and who's doing what and who's from the city and who can create the most accurate picture of the city and who we are and what we're about, what our value proposition is. Like I would love to see a 404 day activation like that whole week. You know what I'm saying? Like that would be crazy.
Well, it ain't till like June, July. What was it, June, July? That's the thing. So 404 day be done passed, but I get what you mean.
Yeah, like
a lot of them. I'll say this: a lot of them are focused on airport shit right now. Like, so they got to really, really jump. I know AIE is opening up a store in the airport, which is going to be humongous for them. To have that Atlanta influences everything imprint in the busiest airport in the world. So that's going to be like a game changer for that brand. Airport activations are going to be, we've kind of missed that boat, right? Like that's not even in the cards at this point. But I do want to throw out this as we get to the midpoint of this call. How do you serve locals? As much as we're focused on all the money that's coming in, we're still here in Atlanta, right? And this is for every other city as well. Like I said, I'm looking at these other cities. We mentioned Philly, we mentioned Houston and Dallas and Seattle, Miami. Like, the locals are going to be interested too. The locals are going to be out and about as well. How do you serve your local market when an international event comes to your city because people still want to be out and about and in the mix, right? Like when the Olympics happened in Atlanta, yes, there was a lot of people who came from a bunch of other places, but the locals were still here, right? Nobody left town. You know what I'm saying? You still had to service the people who actually lived here, who wanted T-shirts, who wanted paraphernalia, who wanted to be in the mix. How do we serve them? How do you serve your people who you should already be serving anyway? But how do you hyper serve them when the rest of the world shows up? Or is that even a concern? Do you give a fuck about the locals?
Well, yeah, like not because like we were here, we were old enough to kind of remember what was going on during the Olympics. I mean, I was a child, a young teenager, but the main thing was a lot of the locals felt like they were being pushed around. You know what I'm saying? It's like kind of moved from one part of the city to the other and just kind of being pushed around and overlooked. So I would say we definitely don't want a repeat of that. So you know what I'm saying? Like that. That's where I think like our local people like Butter ATL and a few of those people like that would be great to do some like East Atlanta activations, some South Side activations, College Park, East Point, show up in Gwinnett a little bit like that, like, especially the West Side. Like the West Side always deserve it because they're gonna be right there. You know what I'm saying? And as close as they are, they might be the furthest from most of the action, you know what I'm saying, with regards to inclusion.
Honestly, though, do you think that any of the locals will really care? Because Atlanta is not a city that doesn't have anything happening on any given weekend. Like some weekends, we may have 4 things going on from college football tournaments to festivals going on. It's always something here. So I think it may be a little, Atlanta locals may be a little spoiled in terms of activities going on, so they just may go about their day just normal. They won't even care. They're just like, okay, y'all here, but we just gonna do what we do anyways. So I don't think a lot of locals gonna really go head over heels in terms of like excitement wise.
I don't know. I have to
Those
disagree
that are,
with
but,
you.
but what I'm saying is, but those that are business minded will tap into it. But those that are not thinking about a bag or thinking about a business play, they just gonna go about their regular day, especially if they're not into soccer.
But we have the Atlanta United team. We can't ignore the fact that when Atlanta United has their games, that thing is packed out and sold out. So it might not be everybody in Atlanta, but again, we have an opportunity of integration. People are getting exposed to something new. And we do have a whole soccer team here. Maybe everybody's not consuming it, but that is one of the reasons why I think we are seeing the city itself, one, want to even pitch for this, but also invest so much money into infrastructure to host this thing for 30 days. Because either way, we're still winning. Our streets are repaved. They're adding all these new businesses and whatnot. So while we get a huge influx in that 30 days, it's also something that can stick with us after. And who knows what this opens us up to once this leaves. Because Atlanta really hasn't had something this big since the Olympics.
Well, to that point though, do you think it's the city's job or FIFA's job to pitch to locals that they need to be involved or included in the activities? Because again, yes, we're going to benefit on the back end with streets and things of that nature. But again, you just mentioned Atlanta United. Those that attend Atlanta United games are already tapped into soccer. So you're going to have your one or two people or your one-offs that go to those games because, maybe they're on a date or maybe they're just trying something new or trying to take their kid. But again, that's a demographic that already is tapped into soccer. I'm saying that there's the regular person that doesn't watch soccer, that's not tapped into soccer, that don't know anything about it. How do they feel included?
It's not about making you feel included, it's about you choosing to be a part of it. So, as somebody who works in experiential marketing, everybody's just looking at the games. It's not just going to be the games. They're literally going to put things up throughout the city, probably a week or two leading up to it while everything is going on. And so, while the focus of it is the soccer. It's almost like if you had the Super Bowl. There are going to be activations because all of these major brands are going to be wanting to do something. I guarantee you Coca-Cola is going to go crazy because they have the city. You're going to probably see AT&T do things. You're going to see Google do things with Google Translate for those who can't speak the language. There are so many elements to our city
That's
that
gonna
we
be
drive past every day that we're not looking at because everybody's worried about it's soccer. I'm not into soccer. But like anything in a big entity like this, there are so many spinoffs, components, and pieces to this that it's going to be there if you decide to be open to it. You never know. You might go to your favorite spot, walk up in there, and they're having Haitian night because the Haitian team isn't part of FIFA. You know what I'm saying? They might be doing some kind of African themed menu over at consulate or something because this is going on. So it's so much bigger than the soccer, and it's going to be great. It's going to be dope.
I definitely want to party with some Haitians. I'm down for Haitian night. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, we at the midpoint, so I want to start bringing people up. I see you got Charles up here. I see Weeks is up here. But I want to go circle back to something Joseph just said. Is it the responsibility of the city or FIFA to get the locals involved? I think that was like a very poignant question. I think the answer is no. I don't think it's their responsibility to do much of anything. Actually, I think if you're business savvy, you should always be kind of looking for new opportunities, right? Like I did an article for LinkedIn about like the Beyonce show. It's like when Beyonce comes to town, there's a whole new economy that shows up, right? There's so many, that I saw a bunch of bars doing like what was Cowboy Carter this year. Renaissance was the one last year. They did a bunch of Renaissance pop-ups and a Renaissance this, a Renaissance that. Like there was all these, the retailers were setting out different types of clothing to appeal to that audience that was going to Beyonce. And I think this is the same thing, right? I don't think it's the city or FIFA's responsibility. I think their only job is really to go get the big money, right? Go get Apple, go get Google, go get, the money to make this thing look like something. But getting the locals involved, I don't think they care. To be honest, that's just my opinion, though.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I don't think it's FIFA's job because this, like, a lot of the attendance, and anybody can feel free to correct me if I'm incorrect, but I feel like a lot of the attendance with regards to the Atlanta United games is just off the back of us being an international city. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not even sure if there are a shit ton of locals that go to Braves games or Falcons games or Hawks games that are just like, hell yeah, I'm also going to this Atlanta United game. You know what I'm saying? So what I would like to see with regards to, whose responsibility is, if anybody's, I would love to see our local government, you know what I'm saying? Like the mayor and shit. Like, hell, bro, like you just won, you know what I'm saying? Like, I would love for you to reach out to a bunch of your constituents and bless them with some, I don't live in the city of Atlanta. I'm from the east side. But I would love to see the mayor and a lot of the Atlanta guard bless a lot of their constituents with inside access, tickets, activation, VIP wristbands. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? That's what I would love to see. I think it would be on the city.
But with that, Gary, you're gonna get the same in terms of crowd wise. They get blessed with those tickets or blessed with that access. You're not gonna get those that don't have access already getting access.
So look, we got a couple people up on stage. I want to get to the people that we got up on stage that we brought up to add to the conversation. And also, and real quick, I think that what we're gonna see come World Cup, and before we even let anybody else talk, because I want to open this conversation up. You guys know we're here. Most of us are here in Atlanta. Me, Isaac, Gary, Alita. Everybody who's pretty much on the stage is kind of here. So I don't want to limit this conversation to just an Atlanta conversation. I am curious to hear what Houston, Dallas, Seattle, Philly is doing, and in particular from our from a cultural standpoint. Like Atlanta is unique. Everybody, we talk about this all the time. Atlanta, it's a lot of us here, a lot of Black people here. So we're always looking like, how can we exhibit and showcase our, the thing that we do here in Atlanta to the world, right? But I'm curious, like, what it looks like in Houston for Black people when the World Cup shows up. I'm curious what it looks like in Philly when Black people, when the World Cup shows up for Black people. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Definitely.
What does that look like? So I just want to kind of open the conversation up to beyond Atlanta, but go for it, Gary. You run this shit.
Before you say,
Dr. Cat, let me we're gonna go in order of the people that we brought people up. So Tall Boy, you go for it real quick, and then Danny, Dr. Cat, Kathy, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, and then Darlene. Go for it, Tall Boy.
I know we have a lot, and I know we're speaking on this, but I'm actually speaking to somebody right now that lives in South Africa, and I'm asking him literally in real time, do you know anybody that's there in South Africa that's looking to come? And, one of his biggest things that he just said that the travel visas with them, raising prices, they're having some issues with that. He said he thinks that the turnout is going to be a lot lower to potentially, just for the South African country. I can't speak for other countries. But that's something that we also have to keep in mind. Now, will it be a sellout? Will it be a great turnout? Yes. But when you pulled up that list, I was looking to see what teams, who do I have connections with in those countries to say, hey, how can we be, or how can I point whoever I know in those countries, in the right direction? And that could be a connection that we can kind of build off of. And I'm just listening to what he's just saying. And we have to factor that in as well, especially with what Donald Trump has been doing in America with the changes that he has made, if that makes sense.
You know what? Is Trump gonna fuck up the World Cup? We ain't talked about that. We haven't talked about that.
Right.
Already
I didn't even
has.
consider that.
He's
Damn.
not going to mess it up because if you saw the draw, and if anybody did not see what happened on Friday, Fox 5 or Fox took over. I mean, this is bigger than Donald Trump, if that makes sense. I mean, he actually pulled the ball. They had Shaq, they had Wayne Gretzky. It was four of the top four athletes in each sport: baseball, football, basketball, and hockey. They were literally pulling out all the names. Donald Trump was there. They had Kevin Hart hosting on Friday with whoever the other person was. So this is bigger than Donald Trump, but you got to also factor in the fact that there are visa fees. There are, and then this gentleman right now is literally messaging me right now as we speak. And he's saying, the South African football teams have been terrible, but recently seem to have gotten their act together and improved a lot. So he's literally sending me messages right now as we're speaking. And it's like, well, I know you. Do you know anybody over there? How can I get connected with those people to where we can try and do some business or at least point them in the right direction? So we just got to factor that in.
All right, international tall boy, we appreciate that. I'm gonna jump in your DMs. Thank you for that, Danny. Welcome to the stage, long-time listener. Tell us where you're calling from. What would you like to add to the convo?
I am in Seattle. Hello, everybody. I wanted my buddy to join, but he's not present. Probably on his way to work. He works for Boeing, but he is my business partner and podcast host. So we have a podcast to cover this very topic, specifically to inform the people here in Seattle and beyond, small businesses, how they can get ahead of the World Cup. So that's Hosting Hustle.
Drop the name of the podcast. Drop the name of the podcast. Come on now.
Host City Hustle. So it's a play on names because of all of the 16 host cities and locations. So just from a podcast standpoint, how can you kind of get in without like infringing on any copyright? So we had to think about the name, the colors. How can we like not take on the same colors as the FIFA World Cup, blue and green? So how to think about all of that. Found out that we have podcasters that are tuning in from, I have it up real quick, just so that you guys know, like, more people are engaging from Israel, Philippines, United Kingdom, and Sweden and India. But just kind of throwing out a few bones based on what I heard. We're trying to, so with the podcast, we've spoken to people that are around global enterprises. We've spoken to people who are great in marketing. We've spoken to some professionals who can give us information about SEO and getting our websites prepared. Spoken to people about government contracting and how you can get funding. We've spoken to a lot of people like vice presidents at the banks, getting those SBA funding and all of those things. Want to speak to more people, like as I heard you guys say, officials, government officials, and what they're doing. In terms of how do you get more businesses, we have spoken to a few people who are in marketing who have suggested exactly what Alita was saying. Forgive me if I mispronounced your name. How do you curate a special menu to accommodate the people that you know are coming in? How do you make sure that your SEO is helping you get to the top of the algorithm ahead of the World Cup? So those types of things. We've started to build out readiness reports. So maybe you guys can help us with the fact checking, but for the most part, I think we got it. I think we have one for Atlanta, Florida, or Miami in particular. So the readiness reports is helping people with getting prepared to travel, what are the best hotels that you can stay at, et cetera, et cetera. We're putting out an ebook, so that's taking all of our transcripts and everything that we've, accumulated so far and putting that up on at least Amazon and our shop as well. Starting to do accelerator programs. So for all of the businesses, and Alita was exactly spot on. So many businesses that we're not considering are already, first of all, big business was already preparing multiple years ago. And I think so often small businesses are so into what they're doing that they have their blinders on, and that's why we're doing this podcast. But like SCORE is huge. If you guys are already not working with SCORE, you need to work with SCORE because they've already been securing big business and partnerships everywhere. Readiness reports, accelerator programs, work with your Airbnb hosts and do some type of referral program. All of your gig workers, the drivers that are going to come through and be transporting people around, like your Uber doors. I mean, whatever the drivers are, I done forgot. Lyft, Uber, etc. Start some weekly calls so you guys can, have these conversations. And then Facebook groups are going to be gold. Believe it or not, there's a lot of Facebook groups from all over Africa, all kind of countries that are organizing in Facebook groups. And so that's going to be your gold as well.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. And also tell us the name of your podcast one more time and where we can find it.
Whole City Hustle. So there's a link in the chat. And then we also are featuring businesses on the featurecup.com website as well. So those are both in the chat.
Well, thank you for that. Appreciate you, Danny, long-time listener. Dr. Cat, welcome to the stage. I hope you don't mind me calling you that. If you do, please tell me.
You got it right.
All right, blessings. Tell us where you're calling from and what you'd like to add to the convo.
Good morning. Good morning. This is Dr. Kathy Tatum in Houston, Texas. I run for-profits and nonprofits. I've been on the advisory board 2 years with Forbes Magazine's 4BLK. That's where I met Isaac at the 4BLK in Atlanta. I love conversations like this because I formed over 392 Black nonprofits around the world. And this conversation actually is not just about soccer, but this is what we need to understand on business. I am from Philadelphia by way of South Carolina and went to school in West Virginia. And I say that because travel absolutely sees where people are coming in town. Here in Houston, a lot of people that are from Houston will say, oh, we don't work with other people unless you're born and raised here. And I tell them all the time, you're missing out because there's so many people moving to Houston or major cities, and they call them implants. And I go, you guys are discussing what you want to do on growing up on your business side or nonprofit, but you don't have nobody coming from out of town. Out of town people, developers are getting together on what they're going to do. And we're talking about gentrification in business. That's the same thing with soccer. So for the last 2 years, I've been playing my role going into the soccer conversation, sometimes all white people, and I'm the only Black person. Right, a lot of the whites, upper class, rich people, they're not going to drive. They're not going to cook. So I've been bringing all these businesses to what we call Team Houston and also Africa. And I said, okay, just like with Afrotech, I don't know if any of y'all came to Afrotech, everything's not on the main stage. There's other Airbnbs and corporation and co-working spaces that you have to lead up to it. So I got all these groups of people that come and they're like, well, what are we going to do? Spread out. You go over there, you go over here. And I feel uncomfortable in this conversation. Well, guess what? One of the people from San Antonio came. They thought they weren't in person, but they got 4 what they call party buses. He's already making more money right now on a party bus because I got him in this meeting. Some people are chefs. I said, you don't wait until the soccer comes. Come to this, show what you're doing with a chef. You're already making money because the person next to him going, wow, you brought some free cookies? We ain't never tasted those cookies before. She was like, well, I never thought about coming to meetings before the event. And that's what I'm telling people. As a Black-led nonprofit, we the least person that gets funded. Even us need to have this conversation. I had a conversation with Divine Nine, Masons and Eastern Stars. It's Christmas right now. We talk about Black businesses, but we don't talk about Black-led nonprofits. We'll get up and get the clothes, the shoes, book bags, and go to a shelter that we don't even run. We'll take all that stuff to the Boys and Girls Club. What I'm doing is looking up who the players are on our soccer team, and I'm already inviting them. I'm like, hey guys, I need a soccer field. I need a mini pitch. They're like, wow, we didn't never thought about that. I'm looking at Paul Wall and Bun B with their Trill Burgers and go, wait a minute, you over there at the soccer thing, but what are you bringing back to the Black neighborhoods? I'm already in the meeting, and what I'm tired of, I get in the meeting, I come back to my Black neighborhood, and I go, hey, all the white nonprofits and businesses, they already have their food handler license or management license. But what's that for? Because when that soccer people come, you're going to want to have a permit already. You want to know the officers. You want to show up to the officers' things. Well, Miss Kathy, no, they know my face now. So if they come up to me and say, why do you have this food thing sitting here at this basketball thing, they're not bothering me. They're like, wow, you already gave to us as a Black-led nonprofit. So I want you guys to not just think about the soccer. I want you guys to think about what can we do now to be seen? What can we do now as a for-profit and nonprofit? For example, I also am the CEO of Tatum Synergy Investments. I'm also the CEO of Tatum Production Studios. Why? Because LLC, it's registered. I got a media pass. Nice. Which goes a long way. Ain't nobody gonna stop me. Fox and all these other people going as a media pass. I'm registered as a podcaster. I'm registered as a community activist. I'm registered as a Latino Chamber of Commerce. I don't even know what they're saying, but I was up in there at the award ceremony. Why? Because they are being favored as FIFTA comes to our community. We're going to have to be strategic, y'all. And I'm just trying to show people. So I got my link in there. I've been turning down 15, 18-wheelers of toys and everything because everybody wants to give it to me. Pepsi wants to give it to me because I'm in that meeting. So we got to be strategic. So I hope that helps.
There it is. Thank you. Dr. Kathy was on her shit, wasn't she?
Yo.
Oh, what happened to Gary? That's weird. Left field, you want to say something, bro?
Yes.
Go for it.
Good morning, everybody. Glad to be on the call. Dr. Kat, you just dropped some bars. Yeah, you got to show up into these different places. As Nick said, I'm a guy who just moves around laterally in the city from silo to silo. And so I got all these different worlds that I'm a part of. And what I'm really focusing on is uniting these worlds. And what I'm starting to do now is have meetings every Friday and figuring out how to take ownership of our culture here in the city and how to tell the story. But we're trying to make it before we actually take it to the people in power so that all they have to do is add water and stir. So again, we're actively having these micro meetings just like we are on this platform here. So this is vital to what we're going to figure out. But the main thing is it's going to be before World Cup and then it's going to be during World Cup, but it's also going to be after World Cup. And so what I'm pushing for is that people that are already in a strategic position in their cities or in their industry or whatever is right now go to the municipalities beforehand and say, hey, we got this for you now. And don't be funny on us when the World Cup come, because it's gonna be an after World Cup and we're gonna remember. So we mobbing up now for the long haul, and you better jump aboard right now so that we understand. So sort of doing like a coalition. Shout out to Coalition DJs. So yeah, I'm gonna land my plane. Thank you.
Listen, bro, real quick, tell us how can people support what you're doing right now from now until right after the World Cup as well? How can people find you and support?
Absolutely. So left field, like the baseball position, so in front of it, .com. I'm on IG, and I'm working internally with my operations to be able to scale and do what I do on so many other platforms, including this wonderful platform of Fanbase. But look for me, I'm in Atlanta on the ground level all the time. But if you're looking for what I got to say and what we got going on, I do it virtually through So Left Field. Thank you.
Oh,
It is.
Blessings.
I met the good brother last week. He cool as hell.
Cooler than a polar bear toenail.
Very.
Straight up. Darlene, welcome back. What would you like to add to the conversation? Good morning.
Good morning, everyone, and I'm from California. I'm gonna go back to where you're saying bringing in the community was in Atlanta. It's as
Right.
simple as, okay, this first thing. I don't know a city that does not have children's soccer teams. No, you're not gonna pull the big people, but in order to get the visual out there, you need, what I typically do is find an area, a 2-block radius, go find the neighborhood associations that are there. I don't
Right.
know what you guys call them there, but in California, they're neighborhood associations. They have connections all over within the city, and they give them money. You just got to know where to go get it.
Exactly.
You can set that 2-block radius up during the whole event for the soccer and bring it in for the kids. You're going to bring the people from Atlanta. Call it a taste of Atlanta, something like that. So people aren't coming from out of country and out of state
Right.
to go eat what they eat at home. And let's get real for that.
Yeah.
One, we all get stuck on that. I can make my own pot of greens. I don't need you to make me one.
Agreed. Thank you for that.
If you do those things and implement them, you got to start now because you are going to have need a lot of the things that the lady was saying, the food handling and all that.
Yes. Yeah. There's a lot of lead up for sure.
It's going to open up the venue more because my little nephews, they play soccer. They don't play football. They're not. Every kid is not big enough to play football. And
I'm a soccer player. I'm an ex-soccer player. I'm with that for sure.
Yeah, try that. You're gonna bring the parents in the work. You're gonna pull the people that you want to get the word out through the soccer teams in the area because they gonna all show up.
Well, thank you for
can
that.
have one little team to do some little footwork and stuff in there, and it could be a place for fan base to set up a table. Why? Because most people that I talk to still don't know what fan base is. I'm sure you still have the same problem in Atlanta.
Yeah, no, that's a great idea. A fan base sponsored youth soccer team. That's amazing. That's an amazing idea. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. That's all I got.
Blessings. Alita, we understand you have a drive that's starting sometime soon. Please tell us more about that.
Oh yeah. So this Saturday I'm hosting my holiday drive. It's gonna be in East Atlanta, at the Ormwood Church from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. This is not a party. This is not a party. We are working with 2 Black women-owned nonprofits. So we're working with Gooder to collect non-perishable, unexpired, dry and canned goods, and also ECI International, which is a nonprofit that is based in Snellville, Lawrenceville, one of those, that does the work all year round. So it was really important for us to work with nonprofits that do the work, not just around the holidays, that were ran by Black people, and just show up on a regular. So I just dropped a link in the chat. I made an Eventbrite. It's simple. All the information is there. And we just want help spreading the word and being able to take in donations.
And tell us one more time, like, what are the donations for, and what are the name of these 2 nonprofits, these 2 Black women-owned nonprofits?
ECI International, and so for them, we're going to be accepting new and gently worn clothing, brand new toys, books, and you can even do electronics if you want. They actually distribute directly to the community.
Nice.
So once we take it in, they will have some of the people from their organization there to take it and take it to their main office and do all the things. I think she does like 2 or 3 handouts or celebrations where she gives it out to the community over the course of December. And then the other company is Gooder, which I'm pretty sure most of us know, and she handles food disparities and just food in general, not only here in Atlanta, but she now has 29 different activation setups and shops and schools and whatnot across the country. And so for that organization, we'll be accepting the non-perishable, unexpired dry goods and canned goods. And so on that link, it has all the things you can donate, has the address, the time, and yeah, just trying to get the word out and do something nice. I mean, a lot of times we feel like we don't have much to give. Anybody who's ordered clothes over the course of the year and you didn't like them and you didn't wear them, and they sit in your closet with the tags, go pull that out and bring it. If you wore it once, you don't plan on wearing it again, go pull it out and bring it. Also, if you are not here in Atlanta, but you want to make a donation, you can reach out. I'm accepting Cash App or PayPal, whatever it is. And I'm actually going to go shopping the day before for anybody who wants to contribute that way.
Dope. And again, you said it is not a party.
This is not a party. You are pulling up. You are leaving your donations. Atlanta will have 50,000 holiday drives that are parties, but I really wanted to put the focus on just getting the things that are needed. I mean, as Nick mentioned, a lot of people, are facing challenges for all the many different reasons this year, right? Yes. And I used to do a lot of community work, and I don't know, God put it on my heart a couple months ago. So we raised the money, we got a space, it's clean, the lot is clean and safe, it's pure daylight, so everybody will be good. Like I said, we'll have people from both nonprofits there, so you'll be able to speak to them as well. And yeah, just trying to do something good.
Dope, sounds good. So we should bring our items but leave our Bluetooth speakers at the house. Cool.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have a little music on the inside, but I just don't want anybody feeling like they better pull up and we're gonna have, the lemon pepper wings and the drinks on deck. That's not what we do. That's not what we doing at this one.
Well, thank you for that.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Well, look, it's 11 o'clock. I want to put a bow on this conversation. I hope we'll probably do this one more time at the top of the year in January, because like I said, if you haven't really tapped in and figured out World Cup shit by January or somewhere thereabout, then you might be stuck. You know what I'm saying? You might just miss the wave, because a lot of this is going to take some, a few hoops to jump through, right? There's a lot of legalities and, permits and, just random things that you might need to tap into. Now, I'm sure there are going to be some small things that you can do, smaller activations that you can do just kind of day of or whatever. You can just kind of wake up one day and say, you know what, I'm going to go do this. But for the most part, when you're dealing with big events like this, there's a lot of, just a lot of little paperwork and a lot of little shit you got to do. So we're going to have this conversation one more time in January. Just because I want to make sure that everybody at least has the information. I don't want anybody to say, oh man, I didn't know. Like, this is call number 2 on this. So I mean, we are putting it in front of everybody's face so they can take advantage of a big opportunity. And if you're not in one of the cities that's hosted, I mean, hell, it might be to your advantage to move around a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know that's easier said than done. Again, I spoke to that earlier this year because I know a lot of people, kind of had some rough 2025. But one thing I firmly believe in is getting out of that rut, getting out of that comfort zone. And if there ain't nothing popping in Chattanooga, you might need to slide down to Atlanta 2 hours, 2 hours south and figure it out.
Hey,
and
Nick.
just try to, yo.
Sorry to interrupt. I've been catching hell. I'm driving with the app and stuff. But anyway, there's a brother that came and joined the call. His name is John down there with Create. And I met him at the John Hope Global Forums last week, as well as So Left Field. And they are actually putting together the same type of coalition with the conversations that we having right now. I invited him to this call. He actually had a vest on that had a patch, that embroidered patch that said FIFA ready or something like that. So he's somebody we definitely wanted to connect with. And the guy that also, I think EC or JC that we've been talking to, Nick, behind the scenes, the other guy, I just wanted to connect and get that guy in the loop, man, because they got some stuff moving as well with the golf carts and all that type of stuff. You know, we probably could hit the golf courses or somebody who may have access to golf carts and all that type of stuff. And if it's winter season, so not a lot of people are not going to be out golfing or whatever. It'll be back warm by that time, so I guess they will be. But anyway, that dude John, man, he working on some stuff. They got a movement going.
Tell him to jump in our DMs.
Hold on, where's John at? I'm looking. Where's John got? John, oh, I see him. I think I see him. Is it John Go Get Her too?
Yep, that's him.
I bet. I'm tapping in now. John, I'm gonna get with you on the side, and we're gonna kind of wrap and figure out what we can do. I'm starting that TC didn't get on. Like I said, the conversation I had with TC last week was really a good call. So I wanted him to share a little bit more. But if there's any way for us to all collaborate, figure out where the money is, figure out what the opportunities is in Atlanta and beyond, please let me know. DMs, hit me directly.
If you live in Atlanta, tap in with your city council member because they just had a major election, and all these new people are coming in January, and start building relationships with them now, and that way y'all can find a way to possibly do something with them because they'll have a lot more resources, and that's even for the other people in other cities as well. Just tap in with your city council member that's in your district and see how y'all could possibly do something with them because they can probably give you a whole lot more insight than you just trying to figure it out on your own, especially if they know who you are and you can build that relationship with them. They at least can point you with the right resources.
Yes, sir. Utilize your resources. By the way, tall boy, check your DMs. Hit me back.
All right, sounds good, bro.
We do this call every single Monday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on this app. Appreciate you, Isaac, as always. Appreciate everybody up here on the stage. Appreciate everybody in the audience. I hope you guys have a great week, great day, and I will see y'all here next Monday, all right? Love and respect. Peace.
Look at us wrapping up on time. Shout out.
Sorta.
All right, later, y'all. Appreciate you.